Well, hey everybody, I'm here with Rick Cochran and two of his good friends, Christian and Kiona, and I'm looking forward to them getting to introduce themselves here in just a second. But many of you, you know Rick really well. Rick, I'd love for you to just kind of just talk about your experience at East Cobb. For those who are not watching, Rick used to be on staff here many years ago, and so we're just super excited that he's back. So Rick, how are you?
Good, Houston. Thank you. Thanks for this opportunity to connect with East Cobb again, and look forward to this time. But East Cobb was my first full-time ministry position, and I will always have a special place in my heart. My wife and I, Lauren, for East Cobb and the people there, and for the leadership there, giving us me an opportunity to have that first position in youth ministry.
Wow.
And so that was it's always been a blessing. We both met at Troy University here through the CSC.
Nice.
And campus ministry became a special thing to us during those years, our experience here. But definitely wanted to get into ministry, and really my experience in campus ministry is what gave me that desire to seek full-time ministry, and so East Cobb was where we landed, and our experiences there were awesome. We had our first child there, so it's always going to have a special place in our heart, and the people there, and how you loved on us, and we really do. We think about you often, and we miss all of you that we've gotten to know.
Yeah, that's so awesome. There is still, I was telling Rick this earlier, for those of you watching, there is still a picture of Rick and his wife on the wall in one of the classrooms here. And so I love that. It's pretty cool. So yeah, I mean, it's great to be able to talk today. Kiona, why don't you introduce yourself, and then Christian, we'll love to hear about you guys.
Yes, I'm Kiana DeJarnett. I'm from Clanton, Alabama. It's kind of right in the middle of Alabama.
Nice.
The Big Peach, you'll come to Birmingham, you'll see that.
Nice.
But I'm studying, I'm a graduate student here at Troy, and I'm studying adult education, set to finish that around October and graduate in December.
That's so cool. That's awesome. Well, it's nice to meet you, and we'll love to just hear about your experience in campus ministry and at Troy. So, Christian.
My name is Christian Dappridge. I'm from Montgomery. Grew up in Montgomery my entire life. I came to Troy as a student. I was here for 4 years. Had an excellent time. I met my wife here. We met at the CSC. And then, towards the end of my time as a student, Rick asked me about the apprenticeship. So I was really grateful to be able to serve in that role. It's taught me a lot. But I just, love the idea of giving back to this place that's meant so much to me. So.
Yeah, that's so cool, man. It's nice to meet you as well. And y'all referenced the apprenticeship, and I want to hear more about that here in just a minute. But really, maybe for several people watching, might not know just what does campus ministry look like. So Rick and y'all as well add to that. What does campus ministry look like, and why is it so important? And go from there.
Yeah, I'll start, I guess, and probably turn it over to Christian. I think campus ministry as a whole, to understand it, you have to have experienced it, and it's such a unique type of ministry, where students who are involved here, they are eager. They want to grow in their faith, or they want to seek out what their faith looks like for the rest of their life, and what that's going to mean for their life, and so it's just such a, I know it may sound cliche, but it is such a fertile place for spiritual growth, and every year there is a harvest, and we're just trying to be faithful to being laborers in that harvest every year as students arrive on campus. But maybe Christian, you can talk more specifically, like what's it like through the year, the things we do.
Yeah. So like Rick said, people are really eager. And he mentioned the word harvest. I think that's a good way to put it. There's a lot of turnover year to year in campus ministry. I experienced as a student, every year you have a crop of people coming in, and you have people leaving, that some of those are, people that have been leaders for a long time. And so things change so much year to year that I've experienced this formula we've kind of been doing the past couple of years, and that is early on in the fall, we're inviting a lot of people to the building. We've been blessed with this building. We've been blessed with a great volleyball court. We have a lot of volleyball nights, but it's just a big emphasis on outreach. Early on in the fall semester, you don't want to invite people to a lot of things, a lot of recruiting. Obviously, with the goal to get them plugged into a Bible study, come to our weekly church service, the gathering here. But we have this fall semester, we're meeting a ton of people, getting them plugged in. And then the past couple of years have been, the spring has been kind of a time for training and equipping people for making disciples, what it means to become better disciples for Christ. And so it's kind of this balance, fall semester of recruiting and then spring semester of kind of training and getting ready for the next fall semester. We're going to get a bunch of new people in as well. It's kind of this cycle that keeps going on.
Yeah, that's so awesome. I love that. Man, it's such a transitionary time for, I remember it was for me too, just like coming into college, your faith is in some ways it's becoming your own for the first time. So I know what you do is so important, and would love to just hear maybe a little bit. What does it look like? You talked a little bit. What do the seasons look like? When a student first arrives, and kind of walk us through that, just to give those watching a picture of what that looks like.
Yeah, one thing I was thinking about was when you look at Jesus's life, and particularly with his involvement with the 12, there was about 3 years of the full 3-year period where he was totally pouring into them to equip them. And I know college 4 years, 5 years, 6 years. It's different for everybody, but the bulk of that time that when you're just getting to know them, and then when they're on the way toward what's next after college, there's about a 3-year window that you have to disciple a student. And just thinking about how that's uniquely the time that Jesus had with the 12.
Yeah.
It's an interesting way to think about it. So the cycles, though, the fall is so important. It's all about, like Christian said, making those connections, and we try to cast our nets wide, and then see what we bring in, who we bring in, and then where to place our attention on developing those relationships further toward discipleship. And that's what really the fall is about. Of course, there's a lot of we're right across the street here. Our building is from the entrance of the university, which is also the entrance to the football stadium. And being in South Alabama, it's a huge part of our culture here. Athletics is in general.
Yeah.
And so there's the fall. We're tailgating a lot. A lot of activity going on. The weather's good here for a long time in the fall, so it's we have a chance to do a lot of things outside. And then like Christian was saying, we started this discipleship training and just inviting everyone, from freshmen to on up, come and be a part of this training. It's about a 6-week course that we do, not only to train them further in maturing their relationship as disciples, but motivating each other at the same time, and then motivating each other toward making disciples, really with our eyes on the next fall outreach.
Yeah.
So I'd say the way we're set up, though, really allows us to have, I think one of our strongest things about our ministry is the community that we have. We have a Christian Student Center, we call it. That's the name of our organization, the name of our building. And it's not very flashy or catchy necessarily to say, but it really does describe the community that we have. This is a place there's people always coming in and out, hanging out here throughout the day and at night, and that just allows this community to encourage one another and to find strength here.
Yeah.
That we've really benefited from with the blessing of a place like this.
That's so great. I love that. Hey, so we've referenced the apprenticeship already, and this is Rick, you've already had a couple rounds. You've had an apprentice before, right? And remind me his name.
Yeah, many of you met Dylan Kirkland 2 years ago. He was
right.
with us. Yeah, I think he's been more than once, but to East Cobb.
Yeah,
he was our first apprentice here, and that started in 2020.
Yeah.
No, 2019. Yeah,
Hey,
2019.
this whole last year has been a blur. So yeah, yeah. Well, that's so cool. So let's talk a little bit about the apprenticeship, like when that idea kind of first originated and how it's been evolving, and then Kiona and Christian, I'd love to just hear about y'all's experience with that because I think that's really cool.
Yeah. So I mentioned campus ministry being such a unique type of ministry, and you can't really understand it unless you've been a part of it. And that's really where the idea of apprenticeship or the idea of an apprenticeship comes from, is we want to raise up more campus ministers who are in this for full-time ministry for the long haul. And also with our eyes on, okay, are there campuses, there are certainly campuses, hundreds of campuses in our country that don't have any this type of Christian activity going on, Christian organizations on campus. And so could we raise up people and even teams of students once they leave? Maybe a few of them don't know what those next steps are, specifically. Yeah. But they can go and they're going to, have a job in a place that might need a campus ministry. And so that's sort of the big idea. And so we always have our eyes on how we can raise up someone that could lead a group of people to go and even plant a campus ministry somewhere. Yeah. We haven't done that yet, but there are many resources and many connections we can strive for that. So wow. That's the overall big idea. But certainly as students come through, they're all uniquely gifted in different ways. And Dylan was really someone who had a vision and wanted to be trained in that way and have those experiences, because he does want to go into campus ministry, and he still is looking forward to that. And so that's really how that got started. He and I working together to make that happen.
Yeah. Wow. That's pretty cool. Kiona, what's been your experience? It's been a year, right? That's how long the apprenticeship is.
Yeah, I think ideally it would be 2 years.
2 years, okay.
The apprenticeship. But these first 2 years we've done it, it's only been 1 year apiece.
Yeah.
But Kiona actually has been here 2 years. Yeah.
Okay, cool. Yeah. So talk about your experience.
Yes. One summer, Rick called me and presented me with the opportunity to come to stay and work with the girls here. And basically my experience, I've just grown a lot, and I've seen the girls grow a lot in their faith. And just the strong connections that we have with each other in a group, that's it's very important, especially in these days and times, just to have somebody to lean on, somebody to talk to, share your experiences with. Yeah. And I've been able to see myself grow in many different ways and see the girls grow also.
Yeah. Wow. I love that. Christian, what about you? Just in this last year or so, what's it been like?
Yeah. So I didn't actually think about a career in ministry until my time in college was wrapping up. It happened to coincide right when Rick brought the idea of me being the apprentice to me, so that was just perfect timing. And with that, I've been serving here as a student for a lot of years. I've been on the leadership team, but just as the apprentice, I've seen a lot more of the behind the scenes stuff that goes into it, being really purposeful with our time in the Word, during our services, things like that, the stuff that I never even thought about when I was a student. Like, I get to see that behind the scenes stuff, and I've learned a lot about how a ministry operates, just seeing that firsthand with Rick, working alongside him. So it's been really great.
Yeah, that's awesome. So I'd love to just hear, maybe just especially for those just watching, like what does the next step look like for both of y'all? I mean, the Lord's probably been working on y'all in many different ways, and just like you talked about, sometimes you don't think about necessarily a career ministry or like how you can be involved in ministry. And you may not have a vision for being in full-time ministry, but like what is the next what's the next year, 2 years look like for you, Kiona?
The next year or 2 years for me, hopefully moving somewhere closer back to home. Yeah. Our church back at home is really growing, and I feel like Rick and Collegedale has really exposed me to a lot of different things when it comes to ministries and group activities. So I'm hoping to go back home and start a career in higher education and take the things that I've learned from here and implement it at our church back at home.
That's awesome. I love that. That's really cool. What about you, Christian?
Yeah, for me, pretty similar. Looking for jobs and things like that. I do plan on starting, a degree in ministry in the fall somewhere. Not sure where yet, but just looking for jobs and plan on, if I'm not in ministry as a career, definitely being a adult in the church. I'm looking forward to just serving in that role. I haven't been able to do that yet. I've graduated and spent my time at the CSC, so I'm excited about the idea of just being a man in the church, if that's what God's called me to do next.
Yeah.
But if it's a career in ministry, then great. That's just as great. So.
Yeah, that's so great. I know the Lord's going to use you both in so many different ways and in ways you probably haven't even imagined yet. But looking back on your time, Rick, especially you, just kind of lean into this. What are some of y'all's favorite memories? What are some of your favorite memories as you think about campus ministry or working with other people? What comes to mind?
Well, there's never a dull moment, for sure, especially with in the last few years, some of the fun things that have been sort of created, whether it's 27 parties or things like that. I know no one understands what we're talking about, but we've had a lot of fun, and so it definitely keeps me young. I'll say too, though, I think some of the things I take away the most every year are the people that God, what seems like randomly puts in my life. Especially this past year with connections being more difficult to come by, as far as starting a new connection with a student. It seems like God has just plopped people here, and even I've had an opportunity quickly to make a connection with them that's meaningful. That's something that's been on my mind lately. I see a little bit different probably than students, but some of my most favorite moments in campus ministry are when we've been blessed to have a couple CSC weddings, we call them, where people have met here, like Christian and Carly, or Dylan and Emma last year getting married, and when everybody comes together, and to see the influence that they've had with each other, those big pictures are they go right to my heart, and I just know that God's going to continue to use these teams of laborers in His kingdom in great ways. And so that's some of the things that are major highlights for me. Obviously, people coming to know the Lord, international students who are here, and from all over the world. Our university is not extremely large, but there are over 70 countries represented. Maybe not currently with things the way they've been, but in a usual year. And so the impact that and the exposure to the world and to the nations that's here is something that is always just mind blowing, that we can have an impact on someone who's probably going back to their homes in another country and reaching people with the Lord that we would never dream of reaching.
Wow, that's so cool. Kiana, Christian, y'all have a favorite memory or two, or just something that comes to mind from your experience?
Yeah, I mean, one that comes to mind for sure. Rick mentioned, people coming to the Lord. I had a friend. We were friends for 3 years here at Troy when we were students together. He's actually getting his master's now, but he was adamant that he was not going to be a believer. But for some reason, he kept coming and hanging around, and we developed a really close friendship. And finally, he decided to become a follower of Christ, and he was baptized. And it was definitely one of the best days of my life. Rick baptized him in Bobby's pool. It was incredible. We were all spread out around the pool last year outside. And another one that I can just think of off the top of my head, obviously there's countless memories, but another one that I can think of is pretty cool is a year ago, last fall, there was a freshman. We were having a volleyball night, and I just talked to him, and I was like, so what exactly are you looking for to get involved on campus? And he was like, I want a campus ministry. I want somewhere where I could be a really committed Christian and make Christian friends. And I was like, okay, perfect. Hey, Rick. And I introduced Rick to the guy, and I was like, this is Hayden. He's going to come to the gathering every week for the entire semester. And he actually lives here at the CSE now.
Oh, cool.
He's a cool guy, but another memory that I think is just super special.
Yeah.
To me.
Yeah, that's really neat. Kiana?
One of my favorite memories will be every week I try to get together with the girls and do a one-on-one, have breakfast. They get to choose which restaurant they get to go to, they want to eat at. So I'll definitely miss that. And also we every year we try to get involved in intramural teams.
Yeah.
This year we did pretty good in flag football, but
Nice.
the championship game I ended up breaking my foot.
Oh, no.
Yeah, it was a hard time, but the girls really lifted me back up and kept me sane.
Wow, man, y'all been through some battles together. That's amazing. That's so cool. Well, I love hearing that. I'm sure y'all could go on and on and on with the memories that have been made, and I love to just hear just kind of as we kind of close this part out, like what's something that we can be praying for? What's something that our church can be praying for? Just for the students that are there, Rick, for you, your family personally, yeah. What can we be praying about?
Well, you mentioned that last, so I'll say just a prayer for me as the one leading here. We have a number of students. We really had it was sort of surprising not knowing what we were getting into in the fall with COVID, but. Yeah. We've been blessed with just tons of students this year, and that has been wonderful. But at the same time, it's also been a little overwhelming because I feel like, especially this past year, that my personal relationships with them it can be lacking because there's so many to develop those relationships with, and so the prayer would be just the intentionality and the steadiness of seeking out those relationships when there's an opportunity to do that. And obviously then, if that is lacking, that somehow, they know that we're here for them, that Lauren and I, our family, our church family here is pulling for them and, want to help in any way that we can. So just a personal prayer, but as far as the our ministry here, I think too we've seen, especially this past year, our group has become more diverse, and just for that to continue. And I think we might have turned a corner a little bit with that, and so where it would be more comfortable for more people to be a part of our group and easier to feel comfortable among us. So. That would be definitely a prayer for our entire ministry. You guys want to share any others?
As far as the CSC goes, I echo everything Rick said. We had a big group of seniors this year. We honored them last night. It was pretty emotional because we all were close for a long time. It's such a blessing, how many new people we have, but just praying for the younger students as they move up. Stepping into those leadership roles. I think we have a great amount of future leaders here, just from getting to know them. And I think that the Lord is going to bless that and bless their time here at Troy. But just praying for those people, step up and have confidence in their abilities as a leader, and confident that God is going to carry them through their time at Troy, and they're going to make an impact through Him. Just praying for those people.
Yeah, that's awesome. Well, we are definitely going to be praying for y'all, and just love to just. Encourage you both, Kiana and Christian, wherever God takes y'all. Just go with boldness and go with passion, and I just know He's going to do such great work through y'all wherever He takes you. And Rick, man, it's been so great to get to know you. I'm looking forward to us getting to know each other better in the days, months, and weeks ahead. And I know our church is just ready to help and serve y'all. And I would love to come to Troy at some point and just get to see these places that you've been talking about. I know it'd be really cool, and man, it'd be neat. So thank y'all so much for your time today.
Thank you. And we certainly appreciate East Cobb, the support you give us, the prayers that you lift for us. They are met, they are felt, and we definitely appreciate your involvement and partnership with the mission here.
Yeah, that's awesome. That's awesome. Well, hey, everybody, this is such an important work that Rick and Christian, Keona have been a part of, and so many others I know as well. And so I'm just grateful for your support of this mission work. It's important to our church. It's important to fuel faith in the next generation, and that's exactly what they're doing here. And so we're just so grateful for your support during this time, during our missions time. And remember, today is Missions Sunday, and so all donations today go to support the work like Rick and his friends have shared here today and that we've been in the last couple months. So thanks so much for your generosity.